Our next guest happens to be a classmate of mine. Steve comes to us from Los Angeles. He is the son of Kenny and Marie Gelder. He has been a radio disc jockey, a comedian. He's written for the Cavalier Chronicle and currently works in TV in Los Angeles.
Thank you. Happy to be here today, and like many of the people here, I want to give my thanks to the reunion committee for doing a great job. I've never been good at judging the size of a crowd, but if it wasn't for all their hard work, the 27 of us wouldn't be here today. It's a great experience coming back to Cavalier. It truly is. When I was first asked to say a few words here at the reunion, my first thought was, what can I possibly say about growing up in Cavalier that won't eventually be used against me in a court of law? And it turns out there's not a lot. I had a good childhood here, I really did. I live now in California. I've lived on the East Coast, the West Coast. People all over the country, when they find out I'm from North Dakota, there's always sort of the same reaction. They feel it must be a bland, boring place to grow up. And I try to assure them we've got all the flavors here in North Dakota, all the way from vanilla to French vanilla. We have a great place here, we really do. And people will say to me things like, it must have been interesting, it must have been nice to grow up in a town with no racial division. And I say, well, obviously you've never been in a room full of drunken Norwegians and Icelanders as they debate the various merits on who explored the old world better. There's plenty of racial division, there can be, but we grew up in a great place. For those of you who are lucky enough to be born in Cavalier, born and raised here, and I'm not talking about those of you who've moved here recently, maybe folks from Niche or Hoople who got struck by the bright lights and big city sort of vibe. I'm not talking about those of you who may have married someone from Cavalier and now live here with one of your convenient anchor babies. I'm talking about the folks who were born here and know the same things that I do about this town. I was able to walk these streets when I was a kid. I played in the parks, I played in the abandoned lots. I want to apologize to any kids who ran into the imaginary landmines I planted during the Vietnam era. I know it was not safe of me to leave those just laying around, but I had a job to do. You know, when I got a bicycle, I was able to be mobile, and I drove these streets and the bike paths. And when I finally got a car, I drove the same trip around town that thousands of teenagers before me and thousands of teens after have completed. You start on Division Street at one end or the other, make your way to Maine. You're out to what used to be the U Market, Warehouse Foods, now Levers. Take that turnaround, come back down Maine, maybe take a trip through the park if you want to shake things up a little bit. And then it's back to Division and Maine yet again. And you could do that for hours and hours as a kid and feel you were getting somewhere. So, the crux of everything that I really want to say here today boils down to one sentiment. I love this town. I love Cavalier. I love being from here. I love telling people that I'm from Cavalier, North Dakota. And then I don't mind spending the next 2 minutes explaining to people where that would be on a map of the United States. I love the memories I've got here. I love the friends that I have here who are still here, the family members, the people who made up this community, because being a part of this community gave me the equipment, the skills, the wherewithal, whatever it is, to do all the strange and unusual jobs that I've done in this world. You know, and to see the other speakers who've been here today, who've gone on to do amazing things, a Navy SEAL, you know, superintendents, people who are in charge of large groups of kids making, you know, molding minds for the future. I think it's just a great place to have come from and a great place to come back to. So I want to thank all of you for having me here today and for being a part of this, for being a part of this community and giving me a base to jump from to do whatever it is that I've been able to do in this world. So thank you all very much. Continue being an amazing community and have a great time at the reunion.